onto following Master, onto the next chapter or onto the next day. Every day, just the other day, I was thinking, how wonderful it is that as Master goes through every day, taking us on this journey in this Lotus Sutra. What she did was she would go through the sutra content for one day, for yesterday, and then continue on with today's content. And what Master would always do is to read the sutra itself, read the content, read the actual sutra. And the most amazing part is, if you think about this, by the time that we are finished with the Lotus Sutra, Master would have recited the sutra for us exactly twice, because she would say it one day and then the next day she would repeat it. And I think how wonderful it is to have Master to do this for us, to recite this, even though it's done in pieces, it's done in very small fragments, in order to get us to understand. But just to imagine having Master to do this for all, and we might not be here listening to all 10 plus years of the sutra explanation, but just the sheer amount of the will and dedication that she herself have already done this for the entire sentient beings that would be around her or around at the time to hear this and bear witness. I think it's already something very amazing. So thanks to all of the brothers and sisters who gone through all the effort and commitment to listen, and even more thankful and grateful to all of you who understand and understood and be touched by the Dharma and be able to share this Dharma. So today we're going to the review. Last week we are still in chapter 23, and last week we talked about the most sincere offering. And if you all remember, it was the part where upon sharing the stories of Bodhisattva gladly seen by all sentient beings, such gratitude and the offering of the body, the offering of the arms, and all these offerings, and Master shared with her own story about how Master during the early days, while having nothing to offer, did everything she could by also burning her own skin to understand, to show, to take us with this journey, to understand, and also to show the dedication. And I think that was through this journey, and I think we get a little bit more understanding of what it means, of how he felt, even though we were not there ourselves, just like many of us who have not been to Africa. But by hearing what Master said, it's as if we were there. By watching the Dai TV, the news clips, or by listening to the sharings from the brothers and sisters from Africa, and by listening to Master talks about the connection that she has with the African, it almost feels like we were there. Same thing, by sharing with us this journey and story and the growth and her realization, it's almost like we were able to continue on, and the road was paved, and that was very important. So that was last week. And this week, this week we wanted to go in, and this is something that I really want to get into, is the offering and the replenishment, right? The offering of the body, and then the rebirth of the body. And next we have the offering of the arms and the regrowth of the arms. And what does that actually all mean? And while this is all part of the story, while this is all, for example, when Master talk of the sending off of the Buddha after the cremation, or after all the process were done, you have all the stupas, you have all the towers that were made. And Master once again told us that where is this stupa, where is this tower being made? It's actually in the heart. Even though physically they're all there, right? Physically, there's 84,000 of these towers, of these stupas. And Master mentioned that this just means that there are many, many, numerous, uncountable. Yes, if it's in our heart, if it's in everybody's heart, if it's happening every single minute, every single second, then yes, there were all these number of stupas that's in our heart, that's all there, carrying on the torches and carrying on the wisdoms of the teaching. So it's a lot of the stories, it's really figuratively, it's not actually really there. However, there are these stories that really beg our attention. People read the stories or read the sutra. They would like to understand how it is that our master interprets and how it is that you and we interpret it. So when we share these stories to our loved ones, not only will we be able to use the story and what it means to draw them in, but also it allows us to think deeper. And for that, I really want to appreciate and give a shout out to all the brothers and sisters who stay after the morning Dhamma talk and to have a daily discussion. And I think this is very important because, you know, we were listening, everybody was listening. And while you're listening, it's really only on the first level, surface. But it's because of the discussion that you have someone leading the discussion and everybody gets to talk. It forces you to really listen and think. And that's when it gets deeper and deeper. And we're going to get to that today too, is how does it actually work? So let me first by going into the offering of the body. What does this all mean? All the four things, right? The offering of the body, and then you come back as and then the Bodhisattva came back as another entity and continue this, the rebirth, right? And then offering the arms, and then it regrows back, right? So what does it all mean? So first, I think we spoke about this many times, and when we touched on this also before, the burning of the body as an offering, it really trying to tell us that one of the things that the Bodhisattva was able to be so delightfully seen by everyone was because when you are acting selflessly, when you're acting in the interest of everybody else, then obviously when everybody sees you, they're going to like you. And Master also said that in order to be liked, you need to start by liking others. In order to be loved, you need to love others first. And in order to be respected, you need to respect others first. And therefore, in order to be, delighted to be seen by everybody else, you must first be delighted to see everyone else. And how do you be delighted to see everybody else when there are always going to be somebody who you don't like? How do you do that? Well, by getting rid of the self, right? Why don't you like that person? Because I don't like the way he walks. I don't like the way she talks. I don't like the way he looks at me. These are the things that I. And so the burning of the body as an offering means putting others in front of you, putting others' needs in front of your need, putting others' events and putting others in front of what you would consider as need, and that's your body. So the burning of the body is something that we discussed before, is to let go, detaching from this body. It's not so much like out of the physical body, but rather it's more like my body has needs, yes, but the needs of others outweighs the needs of me. And I only need a little bit to contain, to sustain what I'm needing to do. So that's the first part. I think it was the easier part. Now, the rebirth of the body, I think this part was something that probably brought questions to people. I remember there was one question that hopefully I can get to more questions today. But there was a question about asking, after the rebirth, it was the Bodhisattva was born into the family, the royal family, and the king's name is very similar to the Buddha's name. So are they the same? Well, they're not the same. Physically, they're not the same, but are they really the same? Well, it's really difficult to say, and I wouldn't know if they're really the same. If it's a manifestation or if it's some other forms, where I wouldn't know, right? But at least physically, they're not the same. But the rebirth of the body, it's not the most important. The most important thing is, how does this child, after rebirth, was able to so vividly remember that was the teacher, and was able to understand and remember all the things back then, and keeping the same vow and the same wisdom and the same diligence. And that was the thing that I thought was very, very important. How would someone, because we go through this, right? We see the loved ones. We see people in our lives. We're going to see people passing, and we're going to see people coming to this world, right? So I'm sure they all come in with certain something about them, right? Master talks about the 8 consciousness. But everybody, including myself, including everybody, I think most of us, we're all making this vow that we will follow masters, right? We will follow master till the end. Well, there's probably no way, but continue to follow master and life after life, right? So how would you be able to remember that, right? How would you? And that's the key. Many people are afraid, you know, and I think so would I if I'm nearing the end too, is you're afraid that what if I'm not going to be able to see master? Or what if I won't be able to recognize master? Or what if I, while, you know, getting reborn, let's not worry about what realm we're reborn into. But, you know, would I remember master when I see her? Or would she remember me? Would I remember Tzu Chi? You know, those are the things that crosses our minds, even though we might not be thinking about it, but it's really there, right? The seeds are planted there. There are some worries, right? So how did this Bodhisattva, when the burning of the body ended, you know, it was for 1,200 years, and that was done, and comes back as rebirth of the boy, of the young life. How did you keep this vow, right? So how does the vow and wisdom remain after this lifetime? How? And Master later told us that it wasn't just these 2 that was in the story. There were many, many countless, life after life after life. It continues after that. It's not just stopping here in these 2 lifetimes. There was just something, a snapshot. So how do you do that? And so we know that gladly seen by all sentient beings, that he was full of commitment, and he works hard. He puts others' needs in front of him. He puts the need to be diligent in front of his own needs. So the right effort, the effort to really put into all these things, that's what he did, okay? So how? And this is where I start thinking about, perhaps it wasn't life after life. Perhaps it was just yesterday. Before you go to bed, is there something that was already in your mind, that you were thinking about what you're going the next day, what you're going to do the next day? You have everything planned out. And then you wake up in the morning, the next day, you right away, you jump to action. Like before you go into bed, you knew and you told yourself that you're going to wake up early, and you're going to go and you're going to do your routines, and you're going to go to the morning wisdom Dharma talk, and you're going to be there. And after that, you're probably going to, you know, stay for the talk, stay for the discussion. And then by maybe 7 or something, you're going to go and pick up somebody, or pick up the children to go to school or whatnot. But you have already planned out your next day. And then you wake up the next day, and then you jump right in to do this, right? So that's exactly this. That's exactly this, because you planned it, and then you wake up the next day, you remember what you planned, and then you jump right into action. Yes, we all have that, right? If the plan is even deeply imprinted in the mind, very deep, by continuously reminding yourself and doing this, then it's not only that the next day you'll remember, but then you'll remember for the next week, for the next month. And that's the whole key. The Bodhisattva works hard with commitment, diligence, putting the work and the effort before himself, his own bodily needs. That's what it means. He only takes very, very little to sustain himself. That was called this this ascetic cultivation and practice. But the whole idea was that because the effort, the dedication, the diligence was there every single second, every single minute, and every single moment, that the moment you go to sleep, the moment you wake up, you right away continue what you were doing before you were sleeping. Same thing. Death is just another form of sleep. The other way around. Sleep is just another form of death. So in another word, how would you be able to, even though our body is interrupted by sleep, or sometimes by our other thoughts, or once every lifetime by death, when it's interrupted, how do you continue to pick up where you left off? And this is actually happening in our lives too. It's not just death that interrupts us. It's sleep, it's lunch, breakfast, dinner. It's sometimes when you're working on something and somebody comes in and say, oh, Joe, I need your help. Then you're gonna go and help them. But you were doing something. How do you continue doing something after you're interrupted? That's what this cultivation is talking about. The rebirth, while maintaining the wisdom and the vow, was because that the work is so entrenched, imprinted in our mind, that we are able to pick it off right where we left off. Even though I had to go and use the restroom, even though I have to do something. But on my way to the restroom, I'm thinking about this. On my way back from the restroom, I'm thinking about this. On my way to help other people, I'm thinking about this. All these things, never a moment that was wasted. And that's diligence. That's how we're able to keep the vow and keep the wisdom. Reminding yourself, by doing this every single moment, this becomes so deeply entrenched, deeply imprinted, even though that we are coming back with different segments, right? One segment is in the morning, the other segment is in the afternoon, and the other segment is at night. It's punctuated, it's separated by meals, but you know what to continue after meal. You know that you're doing something and now you want to continue. By keep on working at it, the constant reminding that this needs to be done, that's called diligence. It's an internal diligence to remind yourself. And when you are working in that mode, then you are not going to be interrupted. You are going to be disconnected by some time, but the moment you're connected again, it picks itself right up. And that's how the rebirth is going to work. That's how we wake up the next day and still be able to continue what we're working on. That's what we need to do, okay? So that's the first two things. So now we're moving into the burning of the arms as an offering. What does that mean? Master talks about the two arms as ways where we are actually creating karma or creating something that benefits the world. And for the Bodhisattva, it's obviously that both arms are tools to make sure that we benefit the sentient beings. And that makes sense. But the burning of these two arms means it's showing to the Buddha, showing to everybody that I am even letting go, detaching from what we have accomplished, letting go of the things that we have done. I've donated, and I have already donated, more than 5 million. That's great. Letting that go. Letting go of your accomplishment. You know what I did? I did this for 5 years. I did this for 10 years. 20 years ago, if it wasn't for me, this wasn't gonna be done. Letting go. That's called burning of the arms. The arms are the major tools of accomplishing all the good things and all the good deeds. By letting go your arm, by burning the arm as the offering, it means that I am not attached to all the accomplishments of the past, or even I am attached to what I am going to do. Oh, I'm going to do so great things to help Tzu Chi moving into the next decade or next generation. Yes, wonderful, great, but letting go of that. That's part of letting go of the body, letting go of the giver, the giver, the gift, and the recipient. That's part of this. By letting go of the things that you have accomplished. That's the burning of the arms. But what about the regrowth of the arms? And this is the amazing part. At first, people are worried, right? It's rightfully so. You are going to be the heir apparent. You are the person that is supposed to carry on the Dharma. How would you carry on the Dharma when you have no arms? And that's something that people are going to be very, very concerned about. And even if the Bodhisattva himself is not so worried about passing on the Dharma without the arms, others naturally are. So what did the Bodhisattva did? Well, if it really matters to you, if it's really that worth that much to you, okay, I'll give it back. I'll regrow it. So what does it really all mean? And this is the part where I really think that's the amazing part. Okay, the amazing part is you just let go of all your accomplishments, but none of the accomplishments, just because by letting go, become any less meaningful. And this is the key, right? sometimes we lose that. We really let go of the arms. Sometimes we get upset when people want us to say, you know what? Sometimes the master would say, yes, you have become an honorary board member because you donated 1 million. But I also cherish someone who only gave 1,000 because that's all they had. And then you go like, well. Then you go. You have your 1,000 and I'm going to stop, right? Because I'm going to detach myself from my accomplishments. Well, the whole thing is this, right? Even when you detach from this accomplishment and remove yourself from what you have done, none of what you have done become any less meaningful. They're still there. They're still there. That they're still yours. It's just that you remove from it. The things that you did 20 years ago that made all these things possible, it was still there. You didn't just because let go and the foundation 20 years ago just disappear, right? It just means that it was still there. If you know where to look, it's still there. And that's why the Bodhisattva felt that, hey, I never really lost my arm. I just let go of that. But if you really want to look for it, it's still there. None of the accomplishments become any less meaningful. It's still part of a very important history. It's just that we don't put it next to our mind all the time. We've done it. It's accomplished. It's achieved. Now let's move on to what we're going to do now and what we're going to do in the future. They're all there. So what does that mean? It means that even if you let go and offer yourself, you is still there, but it's the better you. Even though you let go of all the things that you have accomplished in the past, the regrowth of the arm says it's still there with you. All the things that people see, they're still there. Even if they don't know that you were the one that did it, they're still going to be so grateful for someone who did that. But they didn't need to know it was you. And even if they know it was you, it's okay too. Because whether it's you or not, it does not matter to you anymore because it's already there. And that's the whole key, is the thing is there. This proves whatever that's yours is still yours. And whatever that's not yours will not be yours. The burning of the body, meaning that it's not yours. You don't want to keep this self. What is this self? The body that you live in is just this body for this lifetime. Next lifetime, you might become whatever it is in whatever realm. That's a different body. That's not yours. This is not yours. But what is yours is the wisdom, is the vow. All the accomplishment that you have done, that's yours. That's the wisdom that you take with you. Whatever you've done right now, that's inside. That's part of the stupa, part of the great sutra that Master is creating for all Tzu Chi members. It's everything that you've done in the past that's part of the history. That's yours. It will never be taken away. But whatever that's not yours, this body, these arms, well, they're not yours. You can't take them with you. So whatever that's yours, your wisdom life. What's not yours, your physical life. It's going to be away whenever it's away. We don't know when that is. And what's yours? The virtue, the merit, the wisdom, all the things that comes with it. Not the physical thing that you accomplished, but the actual, what you have done, the contribution, that's yours. But what's not yours? Oh, the glory that Joe did this, and she did this, and he did this. That's not yours to take because it's already there. You've donated, you helped the building, and you helped with the construction, and you helped with the completion of the international school. Yes, that was there. The school is going to be there, and you're part of it. You're part of it, and that's not going to be taken away. But not everyone in the world is going to know how much you did in the past for this. But they're going to see the school, and that's going to be you in there. So that's yours. But what's not yours? Well, the glory is not going to be known by everybody. But that's okay, because what they're going to see is the effects. It's the proper education that is now given, and that is now done, and that is now benefiting so many people by the international school. That's the key. So I think that by going through all this, it gives us a different perspective. Sharing the story with your family members, with your friends, and then going a little bit deeper to discuss what does it mean? What does that mean to be yours? And what does it mean that you get to keep something? Keep something, life after life, even after rebirth. And that's important. So I want to get into a question. I know I only have like 5 minutes. I originally was only going to use 15 minutes on what we just gone through. But anyway, let me go to the questions and I prepare. So this is a very long question, right? Master, we introduced the ancient Buddha. So in the Saha world, and that means in this time, wasn't able to come to in the ancient time. So I was wondering, in this sutra, telling that the universe actually has went through birth, growth, and death, rebirth, and all of that. That means each cycle, there will be a planet called Earth, which can have existence, and Buddha will be born again to guide human. Okay, so what does that mean? And I would like to say that in the sutra, it talks about all these, talks about all these, great time, long time, and different things. But what used to be a country, right? You're talking about the king, right? You talk about the Buddha. The Buddha was actually, the prince of that country, of that nation, right? But what used to be that, we now call a city. So what used to be called a world, could it be something else too? It could. It could very much be something else. But we don't understand. We don't know it yet. Rather than diving into all of that, I think it's more important to understand that because the representation of what the country or nation used to mean is now probably just a city or a state or even a county. We don't know what that's the comparison. But what about the world? Could it be something else? And that's the key for us to understand. If the whole universe is one, because it's what Master told us, right? 心佛众生三无差别. That means your heart, your mind, and the Buddha and all the sentient beings are all of one. Then what does that really mean? Think of your body, right? Think of your body. You are one. But at the same time, all the cells in your body are alive too. So if you take your cell and you say, is this cell you? Or are you this cell? The answer would be neither. No, the cell does not mean me, and I am not this cell. Same thing. You say 心佛众生三无差别, but are you that? Are you this complete? So imagine that we're talking about this concept that is hard to comprehend beyond our idea right now. What's more important is, one, there are other worlds out there that we do not know yet. What are these worlds? The world that you haven't been to, the world that you haven't listened and you haven't had an idea about, the world that you did not care about. And that doesn't have to mean a different planet. That could have just mean a different world where you didn't know was there. For example, politics is dirty. Politics is dark. You didn't know what happens inside. You probably didn't know what it really means to be in poverty. You probably didn't know what it means to be very far away in some countries that's going through wartime. That's a world that we didn't understand. And that's a world that we didn't know. So now we're in this world that makes us living in this world, part of this world, but that's just separate. That's a separation. So does that mean that this whole planet goes through all these, creation and all of that? Yes, I'm sure. But more importantly, is Master's idea is that as someone who is universally enlightened, we get to know, and we should make it our mission to know all the worlds that we are not accustomed to yet. So question 45. So Master talks about, once again, in this pure land, there are no women, well-beings, and et cetera, et cetera. So without the women as an analogy of desires, then no such beings of difficulties, then how would one do cultivating bodhisattva path? So that's very simple. If we are here at this pure land where there's no women, there's no desire, etc., right? Things are going very well. But there are other lands where things are not going well, right? It's almost like now we're living in this country and there is no disaster. But the earthquake happens in a different country. So we here at this pure land where there's no disaster, we are now going there where there's disaster and there's hell, there's probably people suffering. We go there and we help them. It's just our responsibility to go beyond our pure land. Remember, we talked about getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of your castle, getting out of this, like the Buddha, walking out of the royal life, walking out of the castle to walk into the people. Same thing. getting out of your Pure Land, to going to the places there are people suffering and help them. And that could very well be that. During disaster, you head off to disaster site to help. When the mission is accomplished, you return home. Isn't this just like going to this Saha world and then returning to Pure Land? Yes, if this is how it feels, this is how I feel. Right now in Taiwan, even though there's a scare of COVID-19, but we are very lucky. We are very fortunate. Whenever it's possible for us to help the people that are in need because of COVID-19, we do our best. But it's not like we can go anywhere at this time too. So that's why not every time you get the Bodhisattva to come from the Pure Land to help. But there are also Bodhisattva there that could also help as well. Like right now in Malaysia, you guys are right there. You guys are doing everything to help in the COVID-19. That's how it means, right? So you have all these different pieces of land, and you have all these different pieces of what used to be called countries, but now they're called cities, and it could be called something else in the future. But the whole point is, Bodhisattvas travel to different places at ease because they aren't bound. They are not bound to only one place and can only do one thing. So how can things exist together in emptiness without interfering with each other as they are fundamentally of one essence? Well, can you talk and walk at the same time if the mouth and the legs are of the same body? They're fundamentally of one body, of the same mind. How do you not interfere with one another? Same reason, okay? So very quickly, number 48, I'm passing out by 2 minutes. What are the lessons? This is my last question. What are the lessons that one can learn from a glass of water with muddy sediment? Okay, so this is what I said. Clear water equals tranquil mind. Okay, this is the analogy. Clear water equals tranquil mind. Muddy water becomes disturbed and afflicted mind. Okay, so when the glass is still, the mud settles and the water becomes clear, hence tranquil mind. Meditating is like keeping the glass of water still, trying to clear the mind, right? You have the glass and you keep it really still, so all the mud will actually settle, and then the water becomes clear, and then you have the tranquil mind. Now, the problem is that what if the table is moving? It's not the glass itself is not moving, but the table itself is moving. What if the room is shaking? Even if the glass remains still, the water isn't still, and therefore the mud comes out. And even if you are meditating, if the world around you is still shaking, even if your body is still, the mind is not still, and therefore you're still afflicted. So the key isn't the stillness of the glass. It's not the stillness, sitting still of your body. The key is how we deal with the mud. If there is less mud, even if everything around you is moving and shaking, the water can still possibly be clear. And furthermore, if there is no mud, then it will not matter if the world is shaking, the water will remain clear. And that's what this example is trying to show, that meditating is one of the ways to get the water not moving. But how would it work? If the body isn't moving, but the whole thing is moving, then your mind is still not clear. So the idea is to reduce the mud so that even if the whole world is shaking, you are still having this peace of mind and tranquility to be able to continue out. So that's the question that I got through, like 4 or 5 questions. And I'm very glad. Thanks to all of you for posting these questions. And I'm going to get to them sooner rather than later. So thank you all for giving all these questions. And I'm going to try to get to them all the same. So thank you. And that's my sharing for today. Thank you.
Brother Joe, always very wonderful and inspiring. Truly, okay, that's the part on the plan, if it's deeply imprinted in our minds. So let us all of us have all this, the great spirit, the passion, unwavering on this bodhisattva path. So whenever, whichever day, whichever time when we wake up, we can pick it up anytime, even in next life. Today, we are very grateful to have Brother BroYangBao and the team to share with us the intent behind the song. Together, we give. They will share their initial thoughts, among others, the beauty behind the lyrics and the song. Brother Yang, maybe you all wish to play the song before you all start the session, the sharing. Over to you, Singapore side.
Yeah, sister. We will not play the song now, but in fact, we will just run through the slide before we play the song. So may I invite Brother Jabi to share the screen so that we can begin the show. We have all together 6 of us today to share about these songs. And Brother Jabi can start first.
Yep. Okay. Once again, thanks for inviting us to share on the stories behind this song. And it all started from a very simple thought, which is to spread the love during this COVID situation. And all it started from, I think, this picture. Okay, because since the COVID-19 outbreak, we see a lot of hospital frontliners and also other people who are fighting very hard to save a life, but at the same time also facing a very high risk of infection. So how can we appreciate those beautiful faces behind the mask? I think this is the trigger point for this song. And also throughout the period, we noticed that hospital frontliners are not alone, because at the community, every one of us can play a part. So here is just some example that different people play and contribute in many ways to fight the world together. So here is some pictures that I gathered for Tzu Chi Singapore here has done so far throughout this period. So we can see that the top left picture is the distribution of the blessings gift for those who are under the temporal settlement program. And also the top right, this picture is the dormitory decoration. Yeah, so all these simple little acts can accompany those who are being worried. And also for the bottom left, this one you can see there are some people who are broadcasting the music and also some positive message throughout on the air. And this is another contribution to accompany them also. And last but not least will be the bottom right. You can see a group of volunteers making a handmade cloth mask. So all these little acts contribute back to the community, and we all hand in hand, although we can't shake hands, but we all connected our heart through different ways. And also there are some more pictures. So you can find from online also. So there are different programs like for those caring people, caring recipients, those who cannot, who have trouble to prepare meals. So there's a program like a loving kindness meals delivery program as well. And also some students who need help in terms of like laptops to do the home-based learning. And even Tzu Chi also initiate the program of mentoring with love to let the needy students to cope with their studies. So all these little acts add together, and all these stories motivated us and motivated me to compose a song to dedicate to all these unsung heroes. And here is some of the pictures behind the scene. And the challenge, one of the challenge is how to use one song with a limited words to express the gratitude towards the frontliners and also to calm people's mind during this period. Yeah, so you can see the lyrics go through different version of revision, and the key learning is we'll focus on one key point throughout the whole song, and so that people can touch the message within the song and be touched and calm themselves throughout the song. Yeah, so this is the meanings of every word counts. And sometimes words can't express, so we leverage on the music. So it's quite fortunate Brother Bernard helped us to link up with Sister Oak from the playground music, as you can see for the bottom right here. Yeah, so we engage Sister Oak and to give us some valuable guidance, and yeah, all this behind the scene, and then make this song fruitful. Yeah. Okay. So next, I would like to introduce one of my uni friends who also play a part in composing the melody and also playing the piano for us. So over to you, Brother Gao Sang.
Good morning, everyone. Sorry, I was on mute. Good morning, everyone. So I think Brother Chapi has already given a very good introductions. As for my part, there are two key points that I would like to share. It's my personal takeaway. Point number one, which I personally find very unique for me to share over here, is that I am not an official Tzu Chi volunteer. But then I still feel very delighted that people like me would be able to contribute to such a meaningful and creative activities by Tzu Chi. Personally, I feel very respected and welcome throughout the whole journey working with all my friends. I feel very comfortable contributing whatever I can. I think this can be a good story to encourage people outside of the community, like myself, to come and contribute for good cause. So that's my first point. My second point is that if some of you have come across the article that we have published on Tzu Chi website, we said that alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. This is again my personal takeaway. I think it may be very cliche and common to most of you, but this probably just summarizes how I feel throughout these collaborations with my friends. We are not professional musicians. Music is just something that we enjoy doing, but we did our best to contribute in whatever we could. Some of us work on vocal arrangement, some of us work on music arrangement, post-productions. We invited people to sing. We included sign language. I think it's a great achievement by passions and commitments on this one single wholesome goal, even though we are not professionals. So that's basically two key points that I would like to share. Actually, I was requested to share a lot about the music compositions, but I think we have more people lining up to share what they think. So I think I'm going to skip on that musical content. But one single point though, we did our best to convey our message through the music, with the emphasis of positive vibes like gratitudes, appreciations, and then basically this gets translated into all the musical details, like how we put structure in the song, how we repeat the chorus, how we change the key, how we even design and write the bridge for the song, and even vocal arrangement. So I'm aware that there are doctors and nurses in this call today. So before I pass it to the next person, please let me say thanks to all of you who have contributed during COVID-19. And thanks for allowing me to share my thoughts today. Ganan.
Okay. Thanks, Brother Gao Sang. So next, let's Brother YangBao to share on the music production part. Yeah, I think this is the very key for this music song also. Yeah, Brother YangBao, please.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Japi and Gao San, for inviting me on this sharing. And I also thank them for composing and such a beautiful music, so that I got the opportunity to produce it. So my duty passed on to me is actually to produce and to mix the song, become a complete final piece. So bear in mind that this song is actually produced during stay-home circuit breaker in Singapore. So meaning that everybody got to stay home. But this was not the original plan. The original plan before COVID was to, before the COVID go serious, is actually we wanted to use this song. We wanted to record this song in the studio, just like what Jabi have showed in the picture just now. But however, this could not be done So the duty has come to me, says that why not we do it in-house, I mean within ourselves. And so I took out the roles and I begins to do the production and the mixing for these songs. And one challenging part for this song is that because all of us are recording in their own place, that means they are just recording through their vocal through the mobile phone. You know, mobile phone quality is not the best. Then all we collected all this vocal. It's about 10 of us singing these songs. So I collected these vocals tracks and combined with the instruments from Gaosang, the piano, and also the other instrument from other people, and also using the digital instruments. And that's how we arrange them and make it as a complete songs. So the things that I learned from doing this production and mixing is that I realized that like Brother Gaosan says that more people, we do more things, right? So often we are so easy, we feel so easy or doing things alone by ourselves. That's easy to also doing alone, of course. But then things get complicated when we get more people involved. But are we avoiding it? No. That is not the spirit of Tzu Chi member and Tzu Chi volunteer, right? So what we have to do is that we work as a group, and we work as a group to face the music together. That is a Tzu Chi spirit that I learned. That's why, it is through producing these many tracks together, or mixing these many tracks together, I actually did realize more in depth of what the meanings of working as a group, working as a community, to make things success and in a bigger way. Okay, Jabi, can you give me the next slide?
Yeah.
Okay, so is my mouse moving? Okay, it's fine, no problem. Oh yeah, you're still controlling the mouse, fine. Okay, a little bit in depth of what sonic did in our daily life and how the sonic actually influences us. So sonic in this case, in the general terms, we can just call it a sound. Okay. Okay. Being able to hear the world is an amazing experience. It's so to say other things, other senses in our body, like eyes and nose and the rest. And we have some picture down at the slide here. You can look at it. And because of this ability to sense is granted or is born naturally, so often we did not pay much attention over time. Just like the air we breathe every day, the water we get from the basin taps, it just seems like they came naturally to us. So the way we learn Dharma is that we need to be very cautious what happened or what bringing to us through these senses. So the number shows under the pictures. I believe many of us here understand what it means. It's being taught in Dharma for many times. The power of 6 roots. Thank you for someone who posted it on the chat. Okay, there's, to my understanding, there's just not 6, but there are 7, there are 8. It's just that we are not sensitive enough yet to learn about, to know about 7 and 8, but it's there. Okay, but today we are just focused on this 6. However, I would like to zoom in to ear, because the ear have have a part to play. Okay, these senses serve as a access door, like a door to our body and minds, and that means that we are constantly exposed to influences every moment. And something funny about our senses is that all the senses we can do certain way to cut off or shut off, like the eye, we can close it. We can hold our breath. No, we can just shut our mouth. No, you know. But ear is different. Ear is constantly receiving messages. And why is it 1,002 and 800? What is that means? The number is just a general indicator of how influential, or I would say it's how constructive or how destructive the human senses comparing each other. I especially paid attention to Master when Master talk about our ears, to convince myself that the ear is receiving more information than the eye. For example, we are able to know who is coming to us at the back of the door before we see it, correct? It's how powerful the ear is. The ears can actually penetrate the wall. And we are also, the ear also works 360 degrees, but the eye is not, unless we turn our head or we turn our body, but we don't identify that way. Okay, that's how ears, how powerful ears in receiving information. So once we know how important of our ears, but then if we understand our ear meanings, that we can use our ears to do good deed. Yeah. All right. Next, I will rather talk a little bit of in depth on what ears is actually receiving. The ears actually receiving bunch of frequencies where the human can hear, which is from the 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That is on the x-axis, and the y-axis actually the amplitude, how loud the perceived loudness we receive, and these are the things that we are receiving every day. The icons or the pictures shows on the slides are just random pictures I pick it up from the internet. It's just to remind you what are we actually listening, because some of us may not pay much attention to it and thinking that is naturally happen every day. Okay, if you look at like MRT, right, or the train in Singapore. So before the train door closed, we had these alerts, beep sounds that coming to our ears. So before even seeing the door closing, the sound already telling us that we have to slow down. We don't rush to the door, correct? So this the power of the sonic, okay? And every day we listen to different things. Our phones have this notification, and it just pop up with some sounds, and it just came up with some sounds that divert our attention, correct? And the street noise that we face every day, and these are all around us. And what influences us today, I will say, the most I will say is that a big part from the marketing, yeah, because of the business, we got influenced by a lot of marketing information telling us this is better than the other, this is nicer than the other, you know, to trigger the desire of that we want more. So that's how influential the ear plays a part in influencing our minds. So the takeaway from this slide is that whether we are trained to have enough wisdom to process what we are hearing, okay, and to hear well, we need to increase our hearing sensitivity. So I need to talk a little bit more on these sensitivity things, but I think it's quite important. Okay. When we look back at how we listen to our music, or how our grandparents or even the older generation listen to the music, the older music are quite simple. Generally, the vocal is a center. Vocal is a center. Okay, and the center of the vocal is around 1 kilo to 5 kilohertz. It's somewhere middle of the frequency that I introduced. But over the time, human beings feel that this is not good enough. So we wanted to hear more. That's why we started to discover instruments that can play beyond the vocal frequencies. So that's where we reach out to higher frequency, and we reach out to a lower frequency, which is the bass. Okay, and then some people get very excited with the bass, and they constantly want to hear more. And in order to hear the bass, you need to increase the amplitude or increase the volume to be able to hear that. And what happens when you increase the volume? You increase the volume to a higher dB, higher volume, is actually damaging your ear, bringing down your sensitivity. But people are not aware of it, so they constantly wanted more on the bass, listen to the loud music like our young generation today, and the sensitivity, the ear get damaged slowly, like cooking a frog. In Chinese we say cooking a frog in the warm water. When the water get boiled, the frog dead. So just happening slowly. So when your ear get damaged slowly and your ear get not sensitive, you increase your amplitude and volume further. That's how this cycle going round, and then we get hurt. So the moral of this is that telling us that if we have to be aware of what we are doing. Many people are not aware, they just enjoy good music and things. But my advice here is that if you are listening to the music, please keep the volume low. And not because we are not able to hear, it's just that we are not sensitive enough, and we are not mindful enough, we are not alert enough to capture the frequencies. Okay. So if we keep our mind pure, we can achieve that, or we can achieve beyond that. Okay. The last point I would like to share with this share on this slide is that the sound is actually a very powerful tool. They can calm our minds, like just like the church music, which I personally like quite a lot. So how do we make enough good sonics to calm or to purify the minds of the people? I think this is something that I have been thinking. That's why coming back to these songs, when Chapi started invite me to be part of this song, I am very gratitude that I will be able to do this, because this is ultimately what Tzu Chi people have to do to the peoples, right? And we work as a team. That's the spirit that we want. Chabi, I think, and all of us here, I think my sharing is here. May I pass over to Chabi? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Brother BroYangBao, in helping out the music production for this final song. And next, because this song lyrics is written in Chinese, so the English translation is very important so that we can reach out to more people. So let's invite Sister Jing to share more on this. Sister Hui Xin, please.
Hello,
Yes, can hear.
can you hear me and see me?
We
Hello?
can hear you and see you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much to Brother Kaipik, and I am very grateful for this opportunity. What I actually initially intended was that as the world battles with COVID-19, I wanted to do something to help. But we were all under lockdown, so physical movement is heavily restricted. So I approached my friend Kaipik and to ask if there was any volunteer work related to fighting the virus that I can do from home. And he introduced me to Brother Bernard Tan, who was basically my main contact for translation work. So at that time, I was mainly helping to translate chronological news of Singapore's fight against COVID-19, and also how Tzu Chi stepped in to assist the people who needed help. So what I learned from this experience is that this is a global crisis, and there are many, many people who are going through it, fighting to survive. And their family members have to be prepared for the worst. So, for example, I'm in Singapore, my parents are in Malaysia, and the borders are now closed, and I don't get to see them. I do pray every day that we're all healthy, because we can't move freely to be near each other during this time. So I tried to channel my thoughts to meaningful projects that will help in some ways. So I was really glad that this opportunity arose when Brother Kaipik told me about this original composition by Tzu Chi. And he asked if I was keen to help to translate it into English. So I was really excited about this project when he told me, and I agreed to help out, to try out. Brother Kaipik, can I have the next slide, please?
Okay.
Yeah, so it was actually it was after I agreed to it that I realized that to be honest, lyrical translation is very different from the usual timeline translation of news, because the Chinese language, when written for a song, it could be very, very descriptive and very figurative, and because of that, there is a certain linguistic difference that is not so easy to bridge. It's not so easy to translate literally and still keep the original meaning. So sometimes it didn't sound like it made sense to me. At least, I find it strange if I translate it word for word. For example, like in Chinese, part of the lyrics mentioned that our hearts can be united, like 心牵着心. But if I literally translate it to say heart, holding heart in English, it didn't sound as appealing to me. At least it didn't for me. So I ended up writing a few versions for the song. And the first one was really, really bad because I was inexperienced. And so then I went to do some research online and about translating poems and songs from Chinese to English. And I think one of them that I referred to was Venerable Heng She's translation of Buddhist songs. So from there, I learned something, and I rewrote the song, at least 99% of the song. And I also enlisted the help of my mother and a friend of mine to help to read, review, and see if I have captured the essence of this very beautiful piece of composition. So it was all done with an objective to ensure that the original, I keep the original meaning of the song intended by the composers, so that the message of appreciation to the frontliners is not distorted. Because to me, I think the frontliners are risking their own lives, the safety of their family members, and to help fight off this coronavirus. And for the rest of us, we are part of the world, part of the system, and no one is 100% safe from this, and everyone has to play a part if we were to win this battle. So in times like this, whatever that we can do to help, either by keeping people informed of the news or being part of this awesome team who wrote this song to cheer the frontliners and patients and their families, and and the effort in making the music video to show the audience the sacrifices of the healthcare workers and essential workers who are there helping to run the world when the rest of us could not really do much except staying at home and trying to break the chain of contagion. I think you are all heroes, and this is the least that I can do to show my appreciation as a human being. So finally, I would like to thank you for this opportunity to be part of the team. And I'm very happy that the conditions are right for us to come together to help in some small ways. Yeah. So thank you very much for this.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe just an add-on, because this song not only translated in English, but also Brother Bernard linked up with Tzu Chi in Indonesia, and he also helped out to translate the lyrics into Indonesian, so so that the song can reach out to more people as well. And so do stay tuned. I think you can find in YouTube like for this Indonesian version of the song as well. Yeah. Okay. So next, beside the lyrics and melody, we also incorporate a sign language into this song. So let us invite Sister Jamie, who composed the song, the sign language for this song, to share.
Hello, everybody.
Yep.
Good morning. Okay. To me, sign language is a very special means of communication, because since day one that I joined Tzu Chi, I loved sign language, and I feel that it's a silence communication. It's a silence language between us and people of different races, people who speak different languages. So I just saw that actually someone wrote this like, use your eyes to listen and use your ears to see. And this is something that Master said before. So to me, I feel that the sign language is actually a means of communicating through the eyes, because when you make this sign language and people look at it, they actually get the feel of what you want to bring across. So sign language actually play a very big role in my Tzu Chi journey, and also I'm also one of a frontliner helping out during this COVID-19, and I use a lot of sign language to communicate with the foreign workers because they cannot understand simple English. So a simple sign language like the Koreans, they like to do the heart-shaped sign language, and that actually lightens up the mood in the dormitory. So to me, when I first get this lyrics, I feel that Chiapi as usual is very talented, and the Chinese is as hard as to translate it to English. It's also very hard to find the correct words, find the correct sign for this song. So actually a big part of this song, there's a repetitive of this sign of ping an, like calm. So in the song, it focus a lot like on the frontline workers, and to me it's really on the dormitory foreign workers, because it's at this time they are actually more afraid than any one of us, because they are the ones that are really locked down. At least we still can go to the supermarket, and stuff, but for them it's really they nowhere to go, and there are high anxiety levels, and some of them don't even know that they are positive cases because of the management. They didn't inform them. So at first I thought like, oh, if this is going to go big, and then the whole Singapore is going to watch it, then maybe the foreign worker one day will see this, and they don't understand Mandarin, of course. So what can a sign language do for them? So I in this journey of planning this sign language, I feel that sign language is actually to let people communicate and understand what we want to bring across through gesture. Because in Tzu Chi, most of the sign language is actually not really by the words, it's really the meaning. So even if you don't know the words in Chinese, but when you do that sign language, they do know what it really means, because from your action, from your body language, they can feel, oh, so this the word, that's love, that's afraid, that's calm, so okay, so I just feel that for the sign language part, I didn't really do a lot, and I'm not a professional in sign language. I just use whatever signs that I have learned during my days in Tzu Chi and also in Tzu Chi to put it into the song and try to bring across more love and warmth to everyone. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for the share because the language, sign language really spell out some of the unsung lyrics. Yeah. Okay, last but not least, let us invite Brother Jiahan, who is the key coordinator for this music video to share on the outreach of this song. Yeah. Brother Jiahan?
Hello, everyone. Good
Yeah.
morning. Okay. So, the whole idea of this song is to engage the youth because what we see in Singapore society, we are somehow like lacking of the power of the youth. How the youth to say thank you to our frontliner. So we try to engage a lot of the youth, especially our Tzu Chi, in this song, especially in the sign language just now we have mentioned. So actually for the debut of this song, the premiere of this song, we try to engage Singapore, the platform of Singapore social media, such as our Facebook and our IG, and also our youth center Facebook and IG, and globally also the Global Village Tzu Chi and the official Tzu Chi in Hualien, with the help of the staff in Hualien, and also our KL Tzu Chi, Melbourne, Brisbane, and also Tzu Chi in Taiwan, National Taiwan University. So actually the date of this debating is on the 20th of May, 13 and 14 p.m. Yeah, just to show in Chinese that 我爱你一生一世 So it's a special we specially pick the time for this debating and cross post online, which means in all these platforms we can see the debating of this song simultaneously. So the effect is actually very good out of our expectation. For examples, in the Singapore Tzu Chi Facebook, we can see some of the people they share to the SG Healthcare Hero, which is a community to show our gratitude to the frontliner in Singapore. And also this song also spread to the Middle East. So we have the person in charge in our Jordan, Chen Chiuhua Sibo. He also shared this song, and this song can reach to the Arabic world. So and also in our KL Tzu Chi Facebook, someone shared it into the Malaysian Buddhist music. It's a group for that. So because it's part of the Buddhist music and how we to show our appreciation, our youth effort in this COVID-19 pandemic. So to in line with what Brother Joe was saying just now, is we are reaching out of our comfort zone actually. Yeah, out of our target audience to the other world of these people that we never meet before. So the outcome of this Facebook, actually the top audience is around 25 to 34 years old, mainly women. For your information, nowadays the younger people, the youth, they are not playing that Facebook anymore. They are used to be Instagram. So in our Facebook and Tzu Chi Singapore Facebook, usually the top audience is around 35 to 45, but now we are reaching more to the youth. So it's the intention of this song is achieved, and also the reach about 25,000. And then there are also a friend of Tzu Chi in Singapore. He the Tzu Chi take part in this sign language, and then the friend of him is actually an intern in our newspaper, Straits Times newspaper, and then she was being touched by our sincerity, our effort. So he write into our website, and then he say he want to write inspiration in the newspaper. Although the newspaper doesn't publish her article at the end, but it show actually music can touch people's heart. Yeah, and we also display this song in our giving.sg page, which is an online platform we can collect donation online. So the call to action of this video is to engage to encourage people to donate, to how to say, to show the support, to help us so that we can manage this pandemic in a better way. So and the outcome is actually within 24 hours we raised around 7,300 thousand Singapore dollar. So so it's actually the click of this link is more than, I think, more than 200, which means that the donation is in small amount. But this is what touching me more, because more people, they are donating, they're paying their little part of this big project. So we're engaging with people, and then we're not expecting a big donation, but it's actually the heart, the sincerity that make a lot of the impact. And then also this song is being played in one of the online plaza in the kindergarten fundraising bazaar. So as effort to show how Singapore Tzu Chi is helping in this COVID-19 pandemic period. So it serves another function at the end of this song that we out of our expectation. So we are trying, actually what we do is we are using the way of communication that is suitable, comfortable to the young generation, using their favorite platform. And then we are trying to reach more people so we can engage more youth volunteer at the end for the future of Tzu Chi. So it's I think it's something really good to try. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks for the sharing. And then we will end up with this music video, and I will play now.
把眼泪变成信念，迎着光，心中的微笑化成了涟漪。当一天使的人守护这世界，让受苦的人再次看见光明。不需要很特别为世间奉献，让失去的心再次找回原点。把一天使的眼守护这世界，让受苦的人再次看见光明。每个人都可以为世间奉献，让失控的心沉淀，让失落的心释然，让失去的心找回原点。
Okay, thank you everyone.
Okay, I'm very grateful for the efforts, for the hard work of the Singapore team. It's very nice seeing how everyone contributes in their own way to speak directly to the souls through music, thereby connecting everyone's hearts and minds far and wide during the global pandemic crisis, where there are many anxieties, and on top of that, there are still many divides over many issues. Yeah. So this song, I think, is really has this therapy effect. And I think even more touching than the music itself is to see how the team, so many people working together in the greater self, detaching from the smaller self, just like what Brother Joe shared this morning. Burning the body means letting go of our smaller self. So no one claims any title, but everyone gives their best. Maybe burning a few days and nights to come up with the Chinese lyrics, the English lyrics, the melody, the sign languages, and mixing the whole thing into the music video. And although no one claims title, I do believe everyone will gain a lot from this experience, not only technically, but also in terms of teamwork. So I think you'll now know how to work in a remote way on the cloud to produce this music. And then last but not least, I believe everyone will also gain the Dharma and the Dharma joy. Trust will be a very nice memory for everyone. Yeah, thanks a lot for this Singapore team. Gaten.
Yeah, Kanan so much. Yeah, I think we're supposed to start our extended session at 8. Now it's already extended to 8:27. Okay, we will seize the moment now. Today we are very grateful to have to able to invite Sister Peggy to come and share her insights. Okay, over to you, Sister Peggy. Sorry for the delayed time.
It's okay. Thanks. Let me share my screen first. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, thank you so much for staying on. Well, yeah. In fact, thank you so much for the opportunity to share my my thought. In fact, I don't have any deep dharma to share. It's just my personal thoughts. Yeah. I would like to say that this morning Xin Fa Xiang it actually helped me through my most difficult time and my darkest days of my life. As most brothers sisters may know, yeah, I lost two very important people in my life in just a very short period. I lost my mom to cancer last June. Then while I'm still grieving for my lost, my husband, my beloved husband left us very, very suddenly on the 2nd of February. His heart just stopped. 23 years ago, I lost my father to heart attack also. These two main killers struck my family and took away the most three important person in my life. Well, 2nd of February, when we look at it as a number, it's a very special number. It's the indication of date. Well, I vaguely remember Hosun did mention that, oh, this is a very special date, and when we write it in numbers. Never would he think this is the last day of his life. He left us very suddenly. Not even a bye. He didn't even say bye-bye to us. Although he has been a cancer patient for the last 14 years, but I'm just not ready to lose him yet. I don't know what words to describe my loss. Shock, panic, denial, sorrow, everything I can think of, but I'm also angry. Yes, I'm angry. I don't know why I'm angry. I'm angry that he left me without any indication, any hints. You know, my son has just bought a new unit and we are in the midst of renovating the house, but he has no chance to move in. Well, he has slowed down his career for the past 2 years after being retrenched. Now he has been working as a part-time tour guide, bicycle tour guide. That's his passion for bicycle. He now gets the chance to do it, but this should be the time that he can, live his life to the fullest. But he just left us. His pastor's whole life has been working very, very hard to fend for the family. He just left us too soon, too early. We can't accept it. Well, in fact, I did not know I was angry until lately. I think I just cannot think rationally. I was so unsettled and my emotion swung uncontrollably after his passes. Although I went on with my life, I go back to work. I was living like a zombie. My physical appearance is there, but my mind is in a big chaos. I cannot think. I got very tired, but still I have to depend on medication to sleep through the night. But when I got up the next morning, I felt even worse. In fact, at this time, I was very thankful to all my fellow brothers and sisters, especially our medical team. They took turns to come and accompany me and take care of me. Yeah, when they are with me, I will tell them I'm okay. But when they left, when the night fell, I can't sleep. I keep myself awake throughout the night. Yes, this is my attachment to my husband. He took very good care of us. Yeah. Okay. Things got worse when the pandemic lockdown began. My mood was very much affected by the lockdown. Everything is so unsettled and there's no closure here. Our plans were all jumbled up. The house shifting, the 49 days prayer, my job allocation, my family matters, everything. And I was worried about my son being alone in Singapore in this pandemic. Since the lockdown, he hasn't come back home. I know he misses his daddy very much. job-wise. I need to adapt to work from home. I did think of just take leaves and just let go of my work for the time being. But seeing that this is a time when my department, the charity team, is of most important, answering to distress calls and from the needy. As a staff of the charity team, we were busier than normal, handling many calls and many distribution and etc. So I forced myself to work. Here, Brother Joe's explanation of the two voices perfectly expressed my thought. One voice is telling me, hey, you are in deep grief. You are grieving for your loss. You just let go of your job and you just get out of your job. But another voice is telling me, this is the time I'm needed most. Yeah. Eventually I continued to work. But the working environment, I was surrounded by all negative ways. Yeah? All these calls and all these cases we have to handle is all urgent and all distress calls. Yeah? My health is very much affected. I kept myself very busy and I shut my mind on thinking about my beloved husband, but it doesn't work. I still cannot sleep. I woke up in the middle of the night. I can't get back to sleep. Maybe there's another calling for me to get nearer to the Dharma. Came 24th April when Master started the morning Shin Fa Xiang. I tuned in right from the first day. Well, I must repent that I was sitting in front of the screen, but my mind is off. I didn't absorb anything at all. I tried to take down notes, but I do not know what I was writing. It's really 不是我在找法，是法在找我。But I'm so glad I to tune in every day. And I'm so glad that the Dharma and our Master did not give up on me. On the 1st of June, when Master shared about this story, these two words really struck me. Master was talking about a group of elderly Pusa in Sichuan, China, who they has to travel from their home in, I think it's Dazhou, to Sichuan, which is about 500 kilometers away. One day, a Pusa, I think her name, Xiangzhen Lao Pusa, when she was traveling from her village home to meet up with others they were planning to go to Sichuan for activities. Her life just stopped at that moment while she was walking out from her village. That's what happened to my husband. His heart just suddenly stopped. No sign, no warning, it just stopped. I'm thinking, when is my turn to stop? 停格，我几时会停格呢? I still have my responsibilities to shoulder. Am I going to move on like this? Well, this group of volunteers, they travel from afar in China, to go to this Faqing Guanhuai for Xiuzhen Lao Pusa. They conduct chanting and caring for the family. Same over here, my family and I have been receiving unceasing love and care from all brothers and sisters, right from the moment in the hospital mortuary to the arrangement of the sending off. Well, if not because of the good affinity we have with Tzu Chi, 我们何德何能 to get so many blessings from all brothers and sisters. The sending off was so touching, so memorable. I'm very grateful to all the brothers and sisters here. Here, I would like to show a short video clip of his sending off. You have to excuse me because I think I forgot to tune into the sound. I'll come back in a short while, once brothers and sisters turn out for the chanting, is like 200 over brothers and sisters. This is Austin's mom. My three lovely children. I think also they form some good affinity with our brothers and sisters here in the Tzu family as well as the Sutra friends. Look at the people turn up for the funeral. This is so touching and so memorable. Yeah. My children and I are so grateful to all my beloved brothers and sisters. Our special thanks to Brother Wong who has captured this memorable moment. The following days in the Xun Fa Xiang, I felt that Master was actually talking to me. I would like to read this in Chinese. 烦恼即菩提，人皆有佛性，无常降临在一个家庭产生烦恼，会是一个菩提的种子。My son joined us to observe vegetarian for the first 49 days of his father's passes. I requested him to do so. He's a good boy. He follows. I'm glad that my two girls were already vegetarian with us for the past 10 years. Now, after 49 days, my son told me, in fact, he feels good. He's still a vegetarian till now. Yeah. My son actually wanted to join certain activities with me, but because of the lockdown, he hasn't any chance to join yet. On the 3rd of June, Master told us we all have responsibilities to show that, be it big or small, or be it in Dharma or in worldly matters. Yeah. I should take over from my husband the responsibilities to my family, be responsible to my job, my voluntary work, and to everyone who cares and loves me. 4th June, the anniversary of our beloved In Sun, Grandmaster In Sun. I would also like to read it in Chinese. 把思念的佛法人间，思念他未曾完成的人间事，日日在思念中身体力行，延续他的慧命。He should prolong and continue Austin's wisdom's life. His physical body is no longer with us, but his spirit does. 我向以身为本，身体是人之大患，最大的障碍。身见为一切烦恼之所依，所有的烦恼都是因为这身体的开始。I believe he is free from affliction now. I finally decided to open up his phone contacts, starting to keep in touch with all his donors, mostly his friends. I wish to get all his donors to continue the good deeds. Well, I plan to take up photography as well. Yeah, I might not be as good at him. Yeah, but I want to learn. I just love the pose he take pictures. Yeah. He's the history writer of our family with his photos. In Tzu Chi activities, some of the Tzu Chi activities also. Yeah. You know, it's very difficult for me to find his photos to show in his involvement in our Tzu Chi activities because he is always the one behind the camera. This is a few that I can find. Yeah. Just miss him very much. Whenever I go to the places that he has been, this is in the KL Jing Tang. Whenever I pass through the places that these photos are taken, I can feel he's there. Yes. This is a very precious picture. In fact, I do not know which brother or which sister has taken this picture. He likes this picture also. That he told me that to visit all these old folks' home and to take part in all these Tzu Chi activities actually make him a more filial son. And the first big event he took part was the water repentance. Yeah, I'm proud to say he has followers to go. He has gone through. I mean, to perform all the eight performances. He is a heart patient. I was quite worried, in fact. Yeah, he has gone through some. Yeah, this is our last trip together with the board. Very precious pictures for me. All these photos are very precious to me. This is another very, very precious photos. And he took part in the OCBC Bank race. I think it's also his good affinity with his friend who is one of the organizing team who shared this photo with him. This is a copyright photo. Yeah. Well, I regret I did not join him for his bicycle adventure. Many times he was riding alone. This is one thing I most regretted. This is his bicycle, bike buddies. He's all the tour guides. But brothers and sisters, there's one thing I have no regret at all, and I'm very proud of, is to get him to walk the Tzu Chi path together. He was being certified in year 2017. Although it is not too long a journey to walk the Bodhisattva path together, but I have no regrets. 我一生无悔. I can't say that I'm okay at losing him, not at all. Nothing can replace. Perhaps this pain will never heal, but I'm much settled now. I talk to him every day. In fact, this morning too, yeah, I told him I'm not angry with him anymore. I remind him to continue to walk the Bodhisattva path. He can be very forgetful, so I have to remind him. I remind him, I told him that we will sure meet again. I'm still very emotional. Every time I think of him, I will still cry. But before that, I used to suppress my emotion by shutting my mind not to think about him. Flooded myself with lots of work. That was a terrible feeling, horrible. I'm now learning to observe my own feeling. I let it out, I cry it out. Then I let the beautiful memories of our lives set in. I'm glad to tell I can get much better sleep now. I have my responsibilities towards his parents, my children, my family, and towards everybody who loves and cares for me. I won't let them down. I won't let all of you down. Yeah, brothers and sisters, I will stay strong. Now, he is without a body form now, but I still can feel his presence. 三昧工程，生死去来，犹如夜淡故。生是去，或是来呢？ Why is it in Chinese we say 往生 而不是往死。来来去去都已经很自在了。My husband and I, we just love the song. 此期 song 生生世世都在菩提中。We just love the lyrics. Our brothers and sisters, I would like to end my sharing with this song. Wish that Hualien has eliminated all his karma and he is free to go. 去来都自在。Brothers and sisters, please help me to finish singing this song. 人生茫茫，浮沉无期待。任由风浪飘，美景转向何去何处？离缘觉悟寻是宇宙真理同之间多远离现见人间去来自在闭着我不舍的眼，看念头不真的离苦，观世音菩萨的心，但愿喜欢的无边。发心里愿，生生世世都在菩提中，离愿发心，但愿生生世世都在菩提中。但愿生生世世都在菩提中。感恩。缘 ，Yes, I believe 缘不是一次就结束的，还是会不断连接的。只要发的是菩萨心，就会连连不断。Brothers and sisters, 感恩 so much for listening up. I wish our affinity in Tzu Chi will carry on life after life, no matter where we are and how far or how near we are. 感恩，感恩。
Yeah, Kalan, thank you so much, Sister Peggy, for your most touching sharing. Yeah. Over to you, Brother Ching.
Yes. Thank you, Sister Peggy, for the sharing. Actually, the loss of Brother Hualien is actually a loss to us all, even more so for Sister Peggy. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
So, there's no denial to the pain. No word can express the grief of losing Brother Hualien. Even we can feel part of Sister Peggy's pains, and it takes years. It's going to take years for ordinary people to come out of the pain. But we believe Brother Hualien must have been reborn as a bodhisattva due to his merits accumulated through his good works and kindness in Tzu Chi. And he himself also had this innate kindness. So it's a comfort to know how wisdom life and our vow can continue on beyond this lifetime. So Sister Peggy, do stay with us, and we'll stay with Sister Peggy always. Please be assured that brother will always live in your heart and in everyone's heart actually. And I also believe Master will say, now that brother has passed on, you will have to carry on his mission as well. So that's one person doing two persons' work. So stay strong, Sister Peggy. Actually, you display a very strong will because you still go for Xun Fa Xiang and share a lot of Dharma with us, even in a time of depression. Actually, I think it's we who should learn from you and Brother Horson actually. Yeah, we learn from each other. So yes, let's always follow Master Cheng Yen, and in the grace of the Buddha, let's walk on this Bodhisattva path, life after life.